Welcome to this tutorial on PowerShell Execution Policy. Execution Policy is one of the fundamental security features in PowerShell that helps protect your system from potentially harmful scripts. Think of it as a gatekeeper that decides which scripts are allowed to run on your machine. Understanding execution policies is essential for anyone working with PowerShell, whether you're writing your own scripts or running scripts created by others. In this video, we'll explore what execution policies are, the different policy levels available, and how to configure them safely on your system. So, what exactly is an execution policy? An execution policy is a security feature built into PowerShell that controls the conditions under which PowerShell loads configuration files and runs scripts. Its primary purpose is to protect you from running malicious scripts unintentionally. However, it's important to understand that execution policy is not a comprehensive security system. It's designed to prevent accidental script execution rather than stopping determined users from running scripts. Think of it as a safety mechanism that helps you avoid mistakes, similar to a confirmation dialog that asks, "Are you sure?" before performing a critical action. PowerShell provides several execution policy levels, each offering different degrees of security. Let's explore the four main policy levels. First, we have Restricted, which is the default policy on Windows client computers. Under this policy, no scripts are allowed to run at all. Only individual PowerShell commands can be executed. Second is AllSigned, which only allows scripts that have been digitally signed by a trusted publisher. This provides a high level of security. Third is RemoteSigned, which requires scripts downloaded from the internet to be digitally signed, but allows locally created scripts to run without a signature. This is a good balance between security and convenience. Finally, there's Unrestricted, which allows all scripts to run, but displays a warning prompt for scripts downloaded from the internet. Beyond the main four policy levels, PowerShell offers two additional execution policies. The bypass policy is the most permissive option. It allows everything to run without any blocks, warnings, or prompts. This policy is typically used in automation scenarios where you need scripts to run without any user interaction. However, it should be used with extreme caution and only in controlled environments. The second additional policy is Undefined, which simply means that no execution policy has been set at the current scope level. When a policy is undefined at one scope, PowerShell will look to the next scope level to determine which policy to apply. Before making any changes to your execution policy, it's important to know what policy is currently in effect. You can check your current execution policy by running the Get-ExecutionPolicy command. Simply type this command in your PowerShell window and press Enter. The output will display your current policy, such as RemoteSigned, Restricted, or any other policy level that's currently active. This command is useful when troubleshooting script execution issues, or when you need to verify the policy settings before running a new script. To change your execution policy, you use the Set-ExecutionPolicy command. The syntax includes two important parameters. The execution policy parameter specifies which policy level you want to set, such as RemoteSigned. The scope parameter determines where the policy applies, such as CurrentUser for just your user account. For example, the command set-executionPolicy RemoteSigned-scope CurrentUser sets the RemoteSigned policy for your current user profile. It's important to note that setting the policy at the LocalMachine scope, which affects all users on the computer, requires administrator privileges. For personal use, setting the policy at the CurrentUser scope is usually sufficient and doesn't require elevated permissions. Execution policies can be set at different scope levels, and understanding these scopes is crucial for proper policy management. The process scope applies only to the current PowerShell session and disappears when you close that session. This is useful for temporary policy changes. The CurrentUser scope affects the current user's profile and persists across sessions. This is the recommended scope for personal settings. The LocalMachine scope is system-wide and affects all users on the computer, but requires administrator privileges to modify. Finally, There are user policy and machine policy scopes, which are set through group policy in enterprise environments. These group policy settings take precedence over locally configured policies, allowing system administrators to enforce security policies across an organization. Let's wrap up with some best practices for managing execution policies safely. First, use RemoteSigned for your daily operations. This provides a good balance between security and functionality, allowing your own scripts to run while requiring downloaded scripts to be signed. Second, sign your production scripts with digital certificates, especially if you're distributing them to others or using them in enterprise environments. Third, never use bypass or unrestricted policies permanently. These should only be used temporarily for specific tasks in controlled environments. Fourth, always review scripts from untrusted sources before running them. Read through the code to understand what it does. And finally, use the process scope for temporary policy changes. This allows you to make short-term adjustments without permanently altering your system's security posture. Following these practices will help you maintain a secure PowerShell environment while still being productive.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.